news.
It's what's trending now.
All right, y'all, Rickey Smiley Morning Show, 13 minutes, 13 after the hour, y'all. Hey, I'm so excited, man. It's a pleasure to have this man of God, grace us with the word every single morning on the Rickey Smiley Morning Show. So happy to have him back this morning for a second time. And here to school us about Juneteenth, please welcome the senior pastor of Friendship West Missionary Baptist Church in Dallas, Texas, our own, and he's a part of this morning show because he's been down with us since day one. The one and only Dr. Frederick Douglass Haynes III, member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Yes,
sir.
Haynes. That's the Haynes in the building.
One of the nation's pastors, Pastor Fred. And what I love about Pastor Haynes, he always speaking up on civil rights issues and equality and everything. So we just absolutely love you. Happy Juneteenth, Pastor Haynes. So listen, so while it's true Juneteenth is not covered at length in most American history classes, it's a far stretch to say that nobody ever heard of it.
Right. I mean, that's totally ignorant. And, of course, only the ignorant would make such an ignorant statement because that means they've been ignoring the reality that, you know, there is no real honest celebration of July 4th unless we have a true celebration of Juneteenth. You can't even get to July 4th unless you go through Juneteenth. And so for me, I think it's very important that we remember 155 years ago today, Major General Gordon Granger made his way to Galveston, Texas, and let black people know who had been enslaved 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation that, hey, you know, you're free now. You are indeed free. And so it says something real powerful to me, Rickey, and that is on the one hand, it lets us know, again, July 4th, Declaration of Independence, July 4th, America proclaims its freedom, but you really don't have a real July 4th as long as Juneteenth ain't real. I guess I'll put it this way. If Juneteenth is real, then July 4th is real. If Juneteenth is not real, then July 4th is false because Juneteenth says that all of us are free. And until all of us are free, ain't nobody free. And so that's why I think Juneteenth is the real Freedom Day for the for the United States of America, because up until June 19th, 1865, you had a significant portion of the American population that was not free simply because of the color of their skin. And I guess that lets me know and says to all of us what's been very interesting when you think about it, and that is from 1863, January 1st until June 19th, 1865, on paper, they were free. But it was contradicted by their oppressive reality. And that becomes a metaphor again for what it's meant to be black in this country. And that is, on paper, there are certain things that we are entitled to. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, all of us created equal. That's on paper. But in too many instances, our lived reality as black people is contradicted by what is said on paper in this country. But then the best thing about Juneteenth for me is that Juneteenth is a sign of the resilience of black people, the colorful creativity that we bring to America, because when you think of Juneteenth, what you think of that red soda, you think of good old watermelon, you think of red velvet cupcakes. And again, that's a metaphor because black folk have always brought color to this country. Can you imagine America without the color that black folk bring?
Hold that thought, Pastor Haynes. I'm going to bring you back on the other side, y'all. More Pastor Frederick Douglass Haynes coming up next, Rickey Smiley Morning Show. 25 minutes after the hour. Listen, we're talking about Juneteenth for everybody that's just joined us. We're talking to the one and only Pastor Frederick Douglass Haynes, and he was breaking down the colors of Juneteenth, and you had got to the, right before we went to commercial, you got to the red, Pastor Haynes.
Yeah, man. And you know what? Greg Carr, brilliant professor at Howard University, breaks it down and says that basically when you look at the red punch, the red soda water, the red velvet cupcakes, all of that was symbolic of the blood that was shed by our ancestors during slavery. So it's not just about something that tastes good. It's also about commemorating the sacrifices that were made for us to enjoy what we enjoy. So it all connects. Juneteenth is what's up. That's all I can say.
Oh wow, Pastor Haynes, man, it's crazy because I didn't, and being from Alabama, just I'm learning so much more or whatever because I didn't really get into find out the history of Juneteenth until I moved to Dallas.
Yeah.
And it was, I'm like, what is, what is, explain it, somebody break it down to me. And I just really appreciate the history. And Pastor Haynes, just so many people went through so much stuff just where we can have what we have. And that's why we just really got to educate ourselves and just try to be better. And because people have made ultimate sacrifices just for us to be where we are, Pastor Haynes. And it's a blessing to have you on the show every morning. Thank you for taking a stand. 46 states in D.C. recognizes Juneteenth as a state or a ceremonial holiday. Hawaii, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Montana do not. Now, Senators Kamala Harris and Cory Booker and others are introducing a bill to have it recognized as a federal holiday. What do you think about that, and why is it especially so important right now?
Well, I think it's crucial, especially now, because of the fact, well, number one, until all of us are free, ain't nobody free. That's the bottom line. And so when you think Juneteenth, and that is the last, black people became free Juneteenth, 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, almost 100 years after the Declaration of Independence, meaning that until then there was a hypocrisy in the practice of American democracy. And so if America wants to show it's really about that freedom life, then America needs to go ahead and say, you know what, we really did not have real freedom until June 19th, 1865. So in light of that, we have a responsibility to acknowledge that, because it's always going to be in our face that we were saying one thing on paper but doing another thing in practice. So as far as I'm concerned, it's not going to be real until we go ahead and make that a national holiday that everybody needs to celebrate. You said something real powerful, Rickey, and that is, you said until you came to Dallas, you really didn't know about Juneteenth. The sad reality is that is the case for far too many, because intentionally that kind of thing is kept out of textbooks because it contradicts this positive, great American narrative that really is not reflective of the truth of what America has been and done. And again, until the truth sets you free, a lie is going to lock you up. And so I think it's very important that we petition our senators, we go after our congresspeople, and we let them know that Juneteenth says until all of us are free, ain't none of us free, and we need to make Juneteenth a national holiday.
Man, Pastor Haynes, thank you and if anybody ever get an opportunity to go to Friendship West Missionary Baptist Church, make sure you wear some comfortable shoes, because you ain't gonna spend no time sitting down.
Wild West, baby.
Hey, Rock T, you already know.
Come on, dog.
You already know anything to do with civil rights and breaking it down here have you so fired up and motivated. I just really appreciate you. Remind me so much of the pastor I grew up with, Reverend Edward Gardner, where he preached the gospel, but the same time, he would, when it came to civil rights and inequality or whatever, you spoke out and had and mixed it in the messages or whatever, and just had you feeling real good and feeling good about yourself and your race, and making you feel powerful and motivated and uplifted. Everything, Pastor Haynes. Thank you. You was the first person I met when I got to Dallas. We said, I remember that meeting at the old church, Pastor Haynes.
Oh, you know I do, man. That was a great day. I appreciate that.
Yes,
God
sir.
changed everything for me that day.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you for being in my life, and the listeners love and appreciate you too. Ladies and gentlemen, the senior pastor of Friendship West Missionary Baptist Church, member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And I always have to give him a hard time about that. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Pastor Frederick D. Haynes.
Yes, sir.
We love you, Pastor Haynes. Let everybody know how you can be reached.
Hey, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at FH Unscripted. I'm on Facebook, Frederick D. Haynes. Check out my YouTube channel, Frederick Haynes. Love y'all so much.
Dana, we love you too.
Love you too.
All right, y'all, more Rickey Smiley Morning Show coming up, bottom of the hour.